Hi guys, welcome back to my IGTV and welcome back to another video. My name is Sophia. If you are new here, welcome to Sophia Sees Beauty. Today I'm going to be doing a video going through all of the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership palettes. These are luxury eyeshadow palettes and they're some of my favorite. I'm going to be going through these, showing you guys each of the color stories, telling you my thoughts, swatching a couple of the colors. So hopefully this video can help you decide which Mothership palette is right for you. I've been getting a lot of really awesome questions about which one should I get, which one do you like? So I thought we would kind of just go through all of them and I can kind of give you guys my thoughts. Starting off with kind of just, actually, let's just talk about the packaging first. All of the packaging comes in this black lacquered component. It's usually gold on the back, and then at times Pat will launch limited edition kinds, which you'll kind of see in my collection here. These all retail for $125. You can get them on the Pat McGrath site, or you can also get them at Sephora. From time to time, Pat will have some really good sales. So this is luxury makeup. They are very expensive, but you can get some good deals on them. Starting off with Mothership number 1, this is called Subliminal. And I just want to take a moment to sort of describe the formulas that you typically find in these palettes. Usually you will get a mixture of sort of metallics and mattes. You'll get a skin show shade, which is usually kind of like a highlighter shade, but it's also great for all over the eye for like simpler, more wearable looks. And then you'll usually get 4 of these sort of what a lot of people in the makeup community call her special shades, but have also been referred to as Blitz Astral shades. And this is like a baked gelée formula that goes on really smooth on the eye and typically has a lot of sort of like glitter and shine and multi-dimension to it. And this is kind of like, this is really what you're paying for. You're getting like super buttery mattes, very, very blendable, really creamy, beautiful metallics, and then these wonderful high shine formulas. So starting off with Subliminal, I think this is for the cool tone lovers out there. You're getting all of these sort of like taupey shades. If you're a lover of taupe, I think that this is great for you. I think the standout in here is this beautiful blue shade, which I will swatch for you right here. I mean, it has a little bit, not so much of a black base, but I think that this is great if you love that kind of blue color. I also think this one right here, absolutely stunning. Let's swatch that. Very multi-dimensional. This one's almost like a duochrome. And I love to just kind of like pat these in the center of the eye. And I will tell you guys which one I'm wearing today on my eyes. So yeah, this one is Subliminal. I really like this one. I'm just craving like a really cool tone smoky look, or if I want to go in with this blue. And then, you know, let me, while we're here, let's just swatch this as well. You can see how beautiful and multi-dimensional that one is. Moving on to the next one, this is Mothership II Sublime. And I think that this doesn't get as much love as it probably should. I think that this is perfect if you want something that is very neutral from Pat McGrath, but is not too warm leaning, not too cool leaning. It is a true neutral. And what I love about this here is like this pop of green. And if you are really a fan of golds, you know, I think that this palette is very, very wearable. It's really just this green that you have to kind of like have a little bit more fun. So let me kind of swatch that green for you. It's really pretty. This one does have a bit of a black base, and then we'll go in with this gorgeous gold as well. So that is Mothership II Sublime. Yeah, I really like going into this for going out looks, and especially if I want to play around with that green. So Mothership 1, very, very cool tone. Mothership 2 Sublime, very neutral leaning. And then this is kind of one of the funner ones. This is Subversive. So this is for the person that wants a little bit more color, and maybe you already have a lot of eyeshadows in your collection and you just want something that's going to be super like kind of fun and interesting. So I'll swatch a couple of these special shades for you guys. I really love this kind of blinding gold right here. Yeah, so you can see you've got like some pinker tones, you've got this blinding gold, you have this sort of like purpley blue duochrome right here. Subversive is for the person that wants a little bit more color, something really interesting, and maybe you are a little bit more artistic, and yeah, you don't mind paying a luxury price point for that. So next up, we have Decadence. Now mine comes in this limited edition Star Wars packaging. This was very, very hard to get in limited edition. I did manage to snag it though, but you can get the same palette in the regular packaging. And this is an all metallic palette. So this does not have any of those Baked Gelée Blitz Astral shades. This is just a metallic palette. So I think this is for the person that you really like metallics and maybe you're gonna dip into mattes from other palettes in order to create your look. I think this is a little bit more of like a collector's palette, or if you're someone that likes more of a shimmer that's one and done. I think that the shimmers in here are really, really beautiful. Let's swatch this gold right here. Beautiful, right? These are just going to be nice, buttery, creamy metallics. So maybe if those Blitz Astral shades aren't for you and you want a palette that just has some really good basic but also colorful shimmers, I think that this is a good palette for you. I think that this is good for the person that already maybe has one or two Mothership palettes and just wants, you know, something to kind of take it up a notch, or you just want some more shimmers so that you can play around a little bit more, because the other three palettes I showed you, they do have a lot of very basic mattes that you can use to build a look. So I think that this is a very good companion palette to those. Moving on, we have Bronze Seduction, which is one of her most popular palettes. This was the first Mothership palette I got, and I know that it is for many people their first Mothership palette. And you can clearly see why, you know, you get a lot of really beautiful warm tone neutrals. And let me show you this against Sublime so you can kind of get, you can see Sublime is more neutral leaning, and Bronze Seduction has more like reds and purples and is a little bit more warm leaning. I think that this is a really good palette if you don't have any Mothership palettes already. I think that especially if you think you're gonna play around with like this red shade, I'll swatch that for you. Like, look how stunning that is. I also really like this shade, and I'll just kind of show you on my finger how multi-dimensional that is. If you want something that, again, is more neutral, I think that this is a really good one to start with, especially if you kind of like those brown and reddish tones. I think this also works really well for folks with darker skin tones because you can deepen it up with some of these really dark mattes. I don't really use this for day looks. Like a lot of these palettes that I've gone through so far, I wear them more at night or for going out looks or getting kind of like glammed up. But you can create a pretty wearable look with these lighter shades and the shimmer shades if you have a lighter skin tone. All right, moving on to what is actually my favorite Mothership palette, and this is Midnight Sun. And why do I love this palette? I just really like that it is a mix of beautiful neutrals. As you can see here, if you just look at like this quad, you have a perfectly like simple neutral eye to create, but I also love that you have this range of other colors to play with. I love palettes that are kind of a mix of like neutrals with pops of color, and that's why I really love Midnight Sun. I also love this for fall and winter. I think it's like major fall vibes. So let me swatch a couple of these colors. Here is the purple. Beautiful. It's kind of like a beautiful violet. I also really like this kind of like dirty green color. Swatch that for you there. Yeah, I love that sort of like green with a little bit of gold in it. And then these shadows right here are super reflective. This one's a little bit flaky, but if you tap it on with your finger, it just creates such beautiful dimension. Like, I don't really mind that that one's a little bit glittery. This one's a little bit smooth to kind of balance it out. So I really like Midnight Sun, and I'll kind of show you this against the Bronze Seduction. As you can see, this is much more warm toned and just redder, and you've got that kind of like eggplant matte in there as well. So they're definitely different. I think Midnight Sun is great if you want a little bit more like colors and tones to work with, whereas Bronze Seduction is very much like very bronze. Okay, now the 3 latest palettes that Pat came out with are a little bit more wearable, and they're definitely more in sort of the pink family, and I think it can be a little bit hard to choose between them, but I'm gonna try and display the differences to you guys. So the first one is Divine Rose 1. So Divine Rose 1, as you can see, it's a very pinky and mauvey tone palette, and these lean more on the cool side compared to the other pink palettes I'm going to show you guys. I think that this is her softest palette. I think this is great for bridal. I think it's great for every day. I think that this looks good on a lot of different people. It's probably, it's not as poppy and colorful as some of her other palettes, but this was really kind of like her first palette that she launched where I said, oh, like I can kind of wear that during the day. That's a really good everyday palette. And so some of the standout shades here are, you know, this particular kind of pink duochrome. That looks so good all over the lid. It's very multi-dimensional. And, you know, you can see here, like these are more like mauvey, cooler tones. And I'll sort of compare it to what we have next, which is Divine Rose 2. This is limited edition packaging. I'm not sure if this is still available at the time of me filming this, but I did want to just kind of point that out. So Divine Rose 2 is much brighter, much like rosier than Divine Rose 1. So let's look at these together. You can see the difference. So I actually, just because I like a little bit more color, a little more oomph, and I kind of lean more towards the like warmer side of the spectrum, I prefer Divine Rose 2. I like them both for different reasons. And here, like one of the standout shades is this multi-dimensional shade called Sextraterrestrial. That is a mouthful. I'm gonna swatch this for you guys right here. You can kind of see that on my finger there. And it's just like a shift from, you know, pink to green, kind of like a rose. You know, this is like a Divine Rose palette. And then you get just like rosier, brighter. If you have a darker skin tone, this one might be better for you. If you just want like a little more color, you know, you get this really awesome pink. You can use these colors as blushes. I do that all the time, and so does Pat. And you can always use these skin show colors as highlights as well. So yeah, Divine Rose 2 definitely just overall deeper and more warm leaning and just brighter than Divine Rose 1. And then lastly, we have her most recent palette, at least at the time of me filming this video, and this is Mothership Utopian Dream. And excuse me, because mine is dirty, I've been using it, and this is what I am wearing on my eyes today. So she came out with this, and this one's interesting because I feel like it's not like specifically rosy like Divine Rose 1 and 2. It's kind of a mix of a lot of different things. So I actually think that I prefer this one more than the Divine Rose collections, just because I like that it's a little bit more brown leaning. You get also these beautiful sort of like purple rosy tones here, and let me kind of show you what that looks like. Isn't that pretty? Let's try and fit it on our arm. So gorgeous. And then you also are getting some really beautiful high shine metallics. Watch that for you there. So let me compare it against Divine Rose 1. You can see like this is Utopian Dream is a lot, just like a little bit brighter and a little more purpley and a little more gold. And then compared to Divine Rose 2, you can see that this is very much like a more rosy tone, more pink leaning, whereas I think Utopian Dream is probably a really good mix of like neutrals, but also pinks, but also purples. I think that if you have both of the Divine Roses, you don't necessarily need Utopian Dream. But I still, you know, like I'm a collector and I need to have all of these, so of course I have them. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. I guess the big question is, you know, which of these are my favorite? I think that my favorite are Midnight Sun, which I showed you before, and then probably Utopian Dream as the more wearable option. I really like Midnight Sun for sort of going out looks and more dramatic looks, and I like Utopian Dream for every day. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. I've got sort of that bright shimmer metallic right in the center of my eye. So I think that, you know, I would go with Divine Rose 1, Divine Rose 2, or Utopian Dream if you want something that's more for day looks. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more dramatic, maybe start with Bronze Seduction if you are a neutral leaning person. And then if you want something that's a little bit different that has pops of color, I think like either Mothership 1 or 2 would be great, or Midnight Sun would be good. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I just wanted to show you, you know, kind of walk you through and tell you a little bit about what I think of each palette. If you have any questions, please comment down below, or you are welcome to DM me directly. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy shopping, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.